we're talking about the 15th where you did your walkthrough or clearing of the house. And you don't specifically recall whether it was dark inside or it's kind of vague right now. And there's a CAD report that you were able to review during the break, is that correct?
That's correct.
Does that CAD report state the time that not only you, but maybe other law enforcement officers would arrive at the Fallbrook house?
It does.
And what time did you arrive?
Sometime after 7 p.m., so it was nighttime.
So, does that refresh your memory as to when you did your walkthrough and so forth, that it was dark and maybe if somebody was using a flashlight or something like that?
I have no specific memory of how we did it, but I would guess that I had a flashlight, or, yeah, I would guess there was a flashlight involved.
Or somebody did it?
I would walk with a flashlight if the house was dark.
Okay. Now, you had talked to Deputy Tingley, and he told you that he had gone through the home prior to your arrival, correct?
That's correct.
And he actually took some photographs, correct?
He did.
I'm going to show you exhibits. Just go through those fairly quickly. And I'm going to put up Exhibit 11. And just let me know if you've seen this photograph before, okay?
Yes.
We're going to do it electronically since they've been shown already. We are. Okay. We'll do it the old-fashioned way.
We can do computer 4.
Yes. We can get the dim the lights a bit. Do you recognize that photo?
I do.
And that's a photo that Deputy Tingley would have taken, correct?
He did.
And when you went through the home on the 15th, you probably saw it a little bit differently since it was nighttime. Is that correct?
I would say so.
Okay. But you did testify that things had been changed when you went back on the 19th, correct?
Absolutely.
Now, in this, what are we looking at here? Is this the what you could refer to as the den or the office?
I would say it's either one, den or office.
Same thing, though, right?
Same thing.
Okay. Was there anything changed on the 19th from this photograph?
Not from my memory.
Okay. In fact, when you went back on the 19th, the light was still on, right?
Oh, I do remember that light being on. Now that you've said that, that light was on the 15th. And during the search warrant, I'd have to see the picture, but I think it was still on.
Okay. And also, it's on in Deputy Tingley's photo, correct?
This is on, yes.
Yes. Okay. So again, nighttime though, you don't remember anything specifically that may have changed from the 15th to the 19th, correct?
In the den.
Is that right?
No,
Okay.
that's correct.
And let's go to Exhibit 12. Okay, that's really bad. Let's see if we can do a little better on that. It was better on the screen?
That screen in front of us.
Oh yeah, the
I
screen.
can see it well on my computer
Maybe
screen.
the jury can take a look at one of the screens in the back.
It's right over there.
Yes, yes. And if you want to look at the hard copy, I do have that as well. Do you remember looking at this? Well, first of all, you recognize the photograph, right?
I do.
And when you went through the home on the 15th in the evening, did you go to this room?
We went through every room.
Okay. In between the 15th and the 19th, did anything change in this room?
Not to my memory.
And what room do we call this? What room is this?
It's an upstairs bedroom, but it appeared to be a child's playroom. There were toys in there, but there wasn't. What you're seeing is the bulk of the furniture.
Okay. Now, when things changed on the 19th, you had your notepad with you, right? And
I did.
And you would make notes if there was a change?
Well, I didn't have my notebook inside the residence. I didn't walk through with a notebook and document, but I did.
I understand. I'm talking about the 19th, when you saw that something had changed.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right, let's go to 13. Is this a different room?
That's another bedroom upstairs.
Okay. And you remember seeing this when you went on the 15th. You're going in again at nighttime, right?
Yes.
And you saw this room?
I saw the room. I don't specifically remember items from the 15th.
And you, again, just doing a kind of a cursory clearance, right?
Yes.
Okay. And fast forward to the 19th, did anything change in this room?
No.
That was readily apparent?
Not from memory.
Okay. And 14, we'll go to exhibit 14. And what are we looking at here?
The master bedroom.
Okay. And you went in on the, you went into this room on the 15th at nighttime, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, when you went in on the 15th, you saw the room in this condition, correct?
Yes.
And did you see the lamp that was lying on the ground?
I did.
Okay. And did you make a mental note of that, or did you write that in your notes or something?
I did. That was suspicious. Not crazy, but it was suspicious.
Okay. So you saw that, and then fast forward to the 19th when you went in on the search warrant, had anything changed?
Not to my memory, but it would be in my handwritten notes.
Okay. Was the light, the lamp, whatever you want to call that, was that still lying down on the 19th?
I don't remember.
Okay. Let's go to exhibit 15. This is the upstairs bathroom,
Yes, master bath.
okay? And this is what you saw on the 15th.
I remember the master bath and the walk-in closet being pretty much in disarray with clothing, so I would say that's fair representation of what I saw.
Okay. And on the 15th, I'm sorry, on the 19th, when you went back, did anything change that caught your eye here?
No.
Exhibit 16. Again, this might be a little difficult to see, but if you could take a look at the monitor.
We are looking in the doorway of the walk-in closet in the master bedroom, and that's what I remember on both dates.
Okay. Nothing changed. Was anything hanging in that you recall in the closet there?
There were clothes hanging.
Do you remember anything in particular?
Specifically, there was, I think, female, there was a fur coat, some female items of clothing that there was even clothing with tags on it that were hanging, but not specifically.
Okay. Do you remember a wedding dress hanging in that closet?
No.
Okay.
Could
Go
have been.
to, sorry?
Could have been.
Okay. Exhibit 17. This is the view from upstairs to down the stairway into the, what do we call this, the family room or the living room?
I would call that the dining room kitchen area.
Okay. So, and this is the table that you described earlier, correct? There's appears to be some type of calculator or something on the table, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, in this photograph, when you went back on the 19th, had anything changed in terms of this view?
Yes.
What had changed?
There were two more adult-sized chairs around that circular dining room table.
Do you mind if I stop you, Detective, right there?
That's fine.
Just on the two chairs so it doesn't get too... Did you see on the 15th when you went in, on this particular day, did you see where those two chairs were?
No.
Okay. Go on.
So, this is the view on the 15th. There was one chair in the dining room table, and that child's chair I spoke about before. When we came back on the 19th, there were two more chairs very much like this around the table. And I don't know where they came from.
How about with the newspaper and the cabinet on the ground there? Had anything changed in that regard?
That had been picked up, and the drawers were put back into the, I assume those drawers, my assumption is these drawers are from the island. They match the island. And when I came back on the 19th, the drawers were in the island. The island didn't have drawers in it when I was there on the 15th.
What about newspaper?
The newspaper was picked up.
Okay. So, since Ms. Blake had been to the house between the 15th and the 19th, did you ask Ms. Blake if she moved those items or put the chairs there or picked up the newspapers or anything of that nature?
No, I just went on, she had told me on the 16th on the telephone that she was in the house with MacGyver cleaning up. I made an assumption that the differences came from her cleaning up on the 16th.
Do you know if Michael McStay was there, also there on the 16th?
Yes, she told me he had taken her computer, but I don't know if he was there at the time I spoke to her on the phone.
Okay. And did you know if Michael McStay brought people with him on the 16th?
I don't know.
Okay. Did you ask? Did you ask her?
No.
Okay. Did you ask Michael McStay if he brought anybody to the house when he went there on the 16th?
I don't think I did.
Okay. So you don't know how many people were in the house between the 15th and the 19th. Would that be fair to say? You know that there's people, but you don't know a total number.
That's fair.
And you don't know if kids are running around in the house either, correct?
I don't know.
Okay. Now, you made a note on the 15th during your walkthrough in your report that there was newspaper on the floor in the living room area. Is
Yes.
that this area here that we're talking about?
No.
What area are we talking about?
As soon as you enter the front door of the residence, that is what I was calling the living room. It had a table in there and at least one chair, and there was papers on the carpet in that room, the same room where the wood slats and boxes were curing.
So all of that newspaper, you said, reading your report, there was newspaper all around.
There was a lot of newspaper on the floor,
Okay.
covering,
When you went back on the 19th, it was gone, correct?
gone.
Okay. Did you ask Susan if she threw, sorry, Miss Blake, if she threw those newspapers away?
I don't have any memory of interviewing her about what she did or didn't do.
Well, you went to the trash can though, right?
Oh, we looked in the trash cans.
Did you see the newspaper in there?
There was a lot of papers in the outdoor trash can. I specifically remember it was like half full. I was more focused on finding documents than I was on newspapers, so I don't have memory of newspaper. It could have been there.
I understand. But, okay, how about this? And we still have Exhibit 17 up on the screen. The newspaper down by the cabinet. You indicated that that newspaper was gone also on the 19th, correct?
Correct.
And when you went through the, and I'm going to show you a picture of the trash can as well soon, but that newspaper was gone, and you didn't ask Susan about that newspaper, is that correct?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So you don't know if anything was on that newspaper or where that newspaper was, correct?
That's correct.
Now, you also made a note in your report that the newspaper that was in the living room was laid out as to protect, I guess, the carpet from paint. Is that correct?
That's my assumption, and I do remember it that way.
Okay. And it kind of was laid out that way, right?
That's the way I would have laid newspaper to protect my carpeting from painting.
So when you did your walkthrough with Deputy Tingley, did you know at the time that he had only taken 7 photographs?
I definitely wouldn't have known specifically. I'm sure he showed them to me.
Well, I'm talking about on the 15th, he would have been able to show them to you then
I think so.
from his camera, like he could show you right on the camera.
Yeah, I don't remember if it was 2010, so cell phones were a little different back then. I don't know if it was from a camera or cell phones. I'm going to assume it was a camera because I had a camera in 2010.
Is there any reason why you wouldn't ask him to take more since you guys were already there, you had the camera, you know? Why?
No, I was actually I was proud of him for doing this. It's out of traditional protocol for a welfare check, but it's good. When we went back in, and now I know that it was dark, I was making observations, but we weren't in there to take photographs. There's a legal dividing line there that you're dancing on.
To take photographs if you're doing a welfare check?
Right, the welfare check is for people. It's not for, you're almost intruding on search warrant issues there if you're just going to stop and start doing an investigation.
So is it your testimony that you didn't ask Deputy Tingley, who had a camera, who was walking through the house with you, not to take photographs because somehow that would be a violation of some...
He didn't have a camera with him when we entered the house.
Well, he had it with him either in his vehicle or somewhere.
I had a camera in my vehicle outside.
Okay.
No, there was no camera in the house.
Okay. You could have gone to your vehicle and got the camera, though.
No, I think you're missing my point.
Uh-huh.
When I do a welfare check, and I've done hundreds throughout my career as a patrol deputy and as a detective, I'm going to do the welfare check the way I've been trained. The way I've been trained is we knock on the door, we make notice, we enter the residence with our gun out, and we are looking for victims of a crime or suspects that don't belong in the residence. That's our primary mission during a welfare check.
You testified on direct that this was a little bit different than a regular missing persons or welfare check because the traditional 10 days had already elapsed. So you were already into the 11th day and you were treating it as if a homicide had occurred. So
I had homicide in mind.
This states the testimony.
Objection sustained.
we were on the 11th day, correct?
I don't know if it was the 11th day. I don't know that until Deputy Tingley said that the reporting party, Michael McStay, had said he didn't know if his brother had been around in the last 11 days. He might have been there the day before. I don't know that. That's just what the reporting party said.
You told the jury that the protocol was 10 days for missing persons. After the 10th day, it automatically gets referred to homicide, correct?
That's correct.
All right, so, and you said we were on day 11. Did you not say that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what did you mean by that? You were already into the automatic referral to homicide time when you first got the call from Deputy Tingley, correct?
Right. Just because a reporting party makes his statement, we take that at face value, but he doesn't know for sure if they've been really, truly missing for 11 days. But we're going to take that as the best information we have at the moment.
I'm assuming you're operating and taking all precautions necessary, correct?
Absolutely.
So when you're taking precautions as if something bad had happened to the family, correct? That's the precautions that you're taking to make sure that you get it right.
Sure.
Okay. So in that regard, what harm would it be to ask Deputy Tingley or yourself to take more photographs on the 15th?
I would have to answer that in court, given a different set of circumstances. Why did I back out of a welfare check, go to my car, get a camera, re-enter a house that I didn't have a legal right to be in any longer because I had cleared the house, and start taking photographs in an investigation that was truly at that point just a missing persons case? I wouldn't do that. That's against the law.
Okay. So when Deputy Tingley took the photographs when he did his welfare check, he was operating against the law?
No, you'd have to ask him why he did it.
You just said you were proud of him that he did that.
Well, it helps in this investigation, but it wasn't something I trained him to do, and it wasn't something I directed him to do.
You wrote in your report that I do not find evidence of a crime, correct?
I still state that to this moment.
Okay. There was the windows that you checked the windows, correct?
Yes.
And there was no evidence of forced entry, correct?
Well, at the
Or forced
point we
open,
did.
you wrote forced open.
Right.
Okay. And that the house was consistent with the family living in the house during the renovation process.
That's correct.
Okay. And then you got word from Deputy Tingley that the car had been located. The Isuzu Trooper had been located, correct?
True.
So at some point, I guess it was the next day, correct? Is that your testimony? The next day you went to the tow yard?
My memory is the 16th we go.
Do you have your report with you?
My follow-up, I do.
Would that refer to recollection?
Yes. We're at the tow yard the 16th at 15:40 hours, 3:40 in the afternoon.
It's at the tow yard that you learn where the car was towed from.
Correct.
And that led you to the shopping center.
That's correct.
Okay. So does your report indicate what time this is happening, that you're down there?
Well, I remember once we went to the tow yard, it takes a little bit of time before I can get the flatbed from the crime lab, the flatbed out to take the car away, do the paperwork, and from there, me and Suzanne Fisk, Detective Fisk, went down to the area where the vehicle was towed, and that started the investigation in that parking lot with the security guards.
So at about, well, I don't know if you answered it, but at 3:40 is when you went to the tow yard, correct?
Right.
Okay, 3:40 in the afternoon. And then you learned the location of where it had been towed from.
Yeah.
And it was I guess you described it as a strip mall.
Yes, where the trooper was, I would say it's more a strip mall. Across the street is more traditional mall, fashion outlet mall.
Okay. And that, you said, was at 4548 Camino de la Plaza.
I'm sorry, address again?
4548 Camino de la Plaza?
That's correct.
Right. And Detective Fisk was with you, correct?
That's right.
Now, I forgot to ask you, when you were doing your welfare check on the 15th, was Detective Fisk with you there as well? Did she go down with you on the 15th when you did your walkthrough?
I don't know at what point she arrives, but Detective Fisk and Detective Hillen and Detective Leibach eventually all end up in front of the McStay residence on the 15th.
Gotcha.
I don't know when they arrive.
Okay. Okay, sorry about that digression. We'll fast forward again. We're at the, on the 16th, you have learned that the vehicle was at this particular Camino de la Plaza location. And from there, from the tow yard, you go over there, straight there, correct?
Right.
And is that where you meet the security guards?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what security guards you met at this particular strip mall?
Felipe Martin?
Okay. And is that the person you described as the one that took you around to the different stores?
Yes.
Okay. And now we're approaching maybe 5:15, 5:30 at this time?
5:30 when I'm with the security guard. 5:37.
I think based on the time of year, it might be even getting dark at this time. Maybe it already is dark, correct?
You quiz me on the sunset again. I would say that's right about sunset.
Okay. But you're directed to a store called the Pink Zone, correct?
Nobody directed me there.
Well, you write in your report that you made note that the Pink Zone is a business located near the area in the parking lot where the McStay vehicle was located and towed, correct?
Absolutely right. It's the closest business. Logically, it would have been the business where the McStay vehicle was parked. It was logical that's where you would have gone. You could have gone anywhere through the mall, but it seems like people traditionally try to park their car close to where they're going to go unless they're going to Mexico.
Okay. And you were able to get security surveillance footage for that strip mall, correct?
From 3 of the many businesses in that strip mall.
Okay.
Not all of them had cameras, and of the ones that did have cameras, some of them didn't have exterior cameras.
So on the ones that had exterior cameras, did any of the cameras that you viewed have a, and I'm just talking about the strip mall now, did any of those cameras have a view of the parking area where the trooper would be by the Pink Zone?
Unfortunately, none of them had. None of them covered the exact parking spot where the McStay vehicle was located.
Okay. What about the entry and exit to the parking lot? Was there any surveillance cameras that had a view of the entry and exit locations?
Major department stores in the back of the mall, I think they covered kind of an alleyway that would have shown you somebody coming in and out of an alleyway. I think the duty-free store had some view of the driveway near the Pink Zone, but I would have to see that surveillance video to confirm that.
Okay. So, based on what you were able to find at the strip mall, you saw the other shopping center across the way, correct?
That's right.
And that was the Las Americas.
Outlet, yep.
It's an outlet mall?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you went over there, correct?
I did.
And now it's, in your report it says 7:37, so 5:37.
Objection?
Is that right? If you look on page
What's the
3.
address?
K, 737 is fine.
I'm sorry, 1737.
Oh, yeah, I need to correct the statement I made. That's when we meet with Felipe Martin across the street at Las Americas. That's 537. Prior to that, we arrive at Pinkstone at 5. We're going to Las Americas first.
Look on page 2 of your report at the bottom.
Yeah, at 5:15, we initially arrive at the plaza and we see the pink zone and where the vehicle was towed from, and Fisk takes photos. Then we go over to the Las Americas across the street.
So it
There's
was
2 times I'm dealing with security guards in parking lots, and it's hard for me just from a report to
I understand.
see which security guard, which building.
So you go over to Las Americas. That's a bigger shopping or outlet mall, correct? Bigger than the strip mall.
Yes.
And there's more businesses with more surveillance potential, correct?
Yes.
And at that location, that's where Security Officer Martin takes you around to some of the other stores there, correct?
No, it's getting confusing now. At 537, talked to Felipe Martin. He is at the center where the strip mall is, where the McStay vehicle is, because he points out that vetted duty-free business. Then Fisk and I interview James Wayne Murray and David Jackson. They're the 2 security guards who towed the vehicle, the McStay vehicle. That was at 6:40 p.m.
Okay.
They show us specifically the exact parking spot where the McStay vehicle was towed from.
So can I just stop you there?
Sure.
Was the location that they showed you to be the exact parking space, was that in accordance with what you were inferring initially, that it's by the pink zone?
Yes.
Okay. In fact, it's right in front of the pink zone, or almost directly in front of the pink zone, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And are you able to get more surveillance footage from him, or is that the same surveillance footage you were talking about previously?
I got none from those security guards. One of those security guards then escorts us around and introduces us to business owners, business managers, and says, this is a business, let's look for cameras.
So just so we're clear, I'm not sure about the names. Can we just talk about the pink zone?
Sure.
Okay, we'll talk about the pink zone shopping center,
Yes.
and we'll talk about the big one, okay?
Okay.
Across the way.
I
So
like it.
in the pink zone shopping center, were you able to get any surveillance footage?
Yes.
And that's the one those are the 3 that you described?
Very described.
Okay. Now let's talk about the big one. Were
Okay.
you able to get surveillance footage from the big one?
Yes.
How much were you able to get that looked at in the direction of the pink zone?
1.
How about in the direction of entry and exit locations in the pink zone shopping center?
As I previously stated, I think the duty-free camera covered a little bit, and then the major shopping centers in the back of the pink zone parking lot covered an alleyway, or some form of an alleyway.
And then you interviewed the 2 security guards, Murray and Jackson, correct?
Correct.
And based on what security guard Murray told you, you then decided to choose what hours to get.
That's right.
And you chose, based on what he told you, to start getting the, well, he told you it was around,
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled, it's, to show what information he was given and to explain what hours he was looking for. But before we get in, it's about noon, so we'll go ahead and take our recess. Couple of things, but number one, we're not going to be coming back at 1:30. We're going to be off this afternoon. So we'll be back tomorrow morning at 9:30. I know it kind of sounds like a rote message every time we take a break, where I tell you do not form or express any opinions, do not discuss the case, do not discuss the case among yourselves or with anyone else. And that includes, again, not discussing about the case, witnesses, testimony, exhibits, or parties. It's really important to heed that. Someone might be asking, oh, you're a jury, what kind of a case? Oh, it's a murder case. It's about the one where the bodies were buried out in the desert. Well, there's a lot of people here following this. Someone hears that, they say, oh, the juror was talking about the case, and that creates problems. So it's really, really important that you not say anything. If someone says, oh, you're a juror, what case do you want? Just, I just can't talk about it. And that hopefully will alleviate any problems. And with that, we'll see everyone back at 9:30 tomorrow morning. Okay.